Christy.
What's up, Kelly? How are
Yeah.
you?
I'm good. Guess what day it is?
It's Podcast Friday.
It is Podcast Friday. TGIF with a podcast. Well, it's unusual that we're podcasting on a Friday. And if you're watching, even more unusual that we're podcasting with
A man.
Is this the first man you've had on?
You are the first male guest on the show. No pressure.
I will tell you, I'm 50% excited and 50% terrified.
That's like regular life with either Christy and I, equal parts excitement and terror. So welcome.
Yes, and I'm going to go ahead and introduce our guest, Casey Hurbis. Casey and I met over a decade ago. We got to work on Chrysler projects together, have a whole bunch of stories on that. Maybe one of my most fun clients, almost said funnest, but he's marketed everything from mortgages to gambling, and really that's kind of like perfect preparation for parenting. He also suggested today's topics, which include why men suck, work-life balance, parenting, and AI ruining humanity. So this should go really, really well. Lots of things to cover.
Yes.
So if anyone thinks that we're attacking Casey, these were his topics.
Yeah. You asked, you get, Casey. Welcome.
Well, listen, like Christy, I have ADD. I do not recall giving these topics. So there's plausible deniability in what we're about to embark on here.
Well,
writing.
I love that it's spanning a bunch of topics, and that means I'm the one who's supposed to wrangle both of you then if I'm the only one who's not maybe clinically diagnosed with ADHD. We're going to really try to stay on topic, but the good news is we have multiple topics. So who's going to know?
Nobody's gonna know. It's gonna be just fine.
Casey,
Okay.
why did you want to be on this podcast besides, of course, that you've known lovely Christy for a decade?
I love doing podcast interviews. Quite honestly, I've done dozens of them. They've always been very business focused. And I've come across the vertically unstable podcast in my, in the Insta and the metas and, social platforms. And I would text Christy. And I think at one point I'm like, how come you never have a dude on your show? And, she didn't answer me for about a week. And then I think I followed it up. I'm like, squirrel, hello. And I think she's like, do not threaten us. And if you are serious, we'll bring you on. And of course, I was not serious, but I've learned from Christy many years is, I don't want to cross her. So here I am.
Oh my goodness, Casey, I'm a kind person, and
You are very kind.
but yeah, also don't cross me.
Yeah,
exactly.
Anyone
we learned last
I'm
week she's
quite
a 2.
frankly scared.
If you watched last week, you know she's a 2 and super kind until she isn't. And on the 17th try, she conforms into my 8 and then look the hell out.
Then the empathy is gone, and we got
no more empathy.
And then I'm done. And when
Yeah,
I'm done,
exactly.
I'm really done with you. But in fairness, there's like maybe 5 people in this entire world that I'm done with. So, I know a lot of people. It's pretty good odds. Okay, so let's start with topic number 1. Why men suck, Casey? Why did you bring when you sent this to me? Why did you bring that up? Do you think that we're against men? I mean, I don't.
No, listen, I don't want to upset your your fan base here. I think it was like, and I was asking like, why haven't you ever had a dude on? And what are you afraid to have one on? And I go, I'll come on and talk about why men suck. Now, listen, in preparing for this, I was telling my daughter that I was going to come on. She's home right now from school, and she's like, well, I have a whole list of things I could tell you, 20-year-old girl, why men suck. I'm like, all right, I'm going to approach it from a 54-year-old perspective. And
Okay.
I've been actually thinking about it a little bit, like, why do men suck? And I'm going to turn the mirror on myself. One is, I've talked to my 15-year-old son about this, like number one thing why I think men suck is too often we are emotionally unavailable, or emotionally vaulting, where my answer to everything is usually in 2 words or less, and it's usually fine is one of those 2 words. And you can't break through the crust to understand the why. I go through that with my son. And I do the same exact thing.
Do you think that I'm curious. Let me just ask. Do you think that you're actually less emotional or just less fluent in the language of emotion?
And listen, I am an emotional human. I internalize everything. but I'm not good, and maybe this is a male thing, is I'm not good at expressing my emotions. People have told me that many a times, like, as gregarious and outgoing and fun-loving as you are, the second the mirror gets turned on you, you turtle up.
Yeah.
That head goes in the shell, and you don't wanna talk about yourself. Christy will know that. Like, Christy, you ask her one question, 45 minutes later, you're still, like, "Man, I
You're
forgot what I
still
asked. I
chapter
forgot what
4.
I" Chapter 4. And then she's like, "How about you?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm good." And I might not be good, but I'm like, "I don't wanna get into it."
Well, first of all, I have a rebuttal for that one, Casey.
Mhm.
I'm who I am, and you choose to still be friends with me. So what does
Yeah,
that say
100%.
about you?
I choose
So,
friends wisely.
oh, well, thank you. That was no, it's so don't be nice to me after you just said that I'm a talker, but I am a talker. I'm a 2. I cannot say anything in one sentence. Also, Casey, it's funny you use the word fine as one of your words. If I ever say fine, or most women that I know, the word fine means it's
Not
fucked.
fine.
Yeah.
Is
It's
not
it's
fine.
not.
Press the
Not
alarm.
fine.
The hand is hovering over the button.
So
Yes.
with your mullet situation, you got to turn a little. We got to see this.
Oh, yes, please do lean forward from your chair so everyone who is watching can appreciate this
I just
fine
got it cut yesterday.
hairdo you've got going on. I'm curious, you mentioned you have a 20-year-old daughter and you have a wife, so how did that land when you walked in with that haircut?
Well,
They
I
said it
didn't
was
wa well,
fine.
They said it was
yeah, they said it
fine.
was fine. Actually, it's funny. I this morning, I saw my bride, and I'm like, "Hey, you digging my haircut?" And she goes, "The top is good, the back is the worst." And I go, "Perfect. That's exactly what I was hoping for." Listen, Kelly, and, there's not a lot of things I control in this house, but you know what I do control? The
Yeah,
back of my hair.
you control
This
that.
is it. This is like
Okay.
all the empowerment in my life is pretty much contained in the back of
In
this
the
flow.
back. I think if you could just braid it, put it in a little rat tail ponytail, you probably would just
I've thought
complete
about
the look
doing.
for
I've
your
thought.
wife. If you want a quiet weekend, just put that in a ponytail and it'll be real crickets in your house. I'm curious, you mentioned it's the only thing that you have control over in your home. So, a question for you, since you are the only Y chromosome on here. Do you think men rely on women to socially and emotionally translate life for them then? Why do you feel like this is the only thing you have control on?
Well, I'm being a smart ass when I say it's the only thing. But that's also a conscious decision.
I feel like
That's
it is
it's all.
on
It's
purpose.
also. I'll tell you why is I work long hours. I travel a ton, and my home is my refuge. Like I work so hard during the course of the day, and when I come home, I don't want to make decisions. I don't want to feel like I'm driving the
Same,
school.
bro, same.
Yeah. Well, I'm fortunate. My bride stopped. She was an educator for 20 some odd years, and she retired 5 years ago. And when she did, our discussion and agreement together was, I'm like, "You are the CEO of this house,
Okay.
and I am your intern." Yeah.
Okay.
But I
Okay.
may or
Bossing me
may not show
around.
up.
And I'm
Yeah.
revolting by this haircut. Okay, so in the time when your lovely bride was working and you were also working, who's the one who remembered the birthdays and managed the family dynamics and noticed when the kids were a bit off and all of that
90,
emotional
98,
administrative stuff?
98% her, 2% me. I said I only have to remember 3 birthdays, my children and my wife's. Everyone else, I'm like, "You're like, thank God for Facebook or
Yeah.
a text." Because my dad would always say, he goes, "I always knew it was your mother's birthday when birthday cards started showing up in the mail. And I figured I had about a 2 to 3 day,
Grace
once,
period.
well, yeah, once her mother or her aunt sent a birthday card, he goes, all right, I think it's coming up within 2 or 3 days. And I think I adopted that from my father."
I need to interject here about my friend Casey, because Casey, while he's like, 3%, 2% of the decision making or whatever, Casey traveled a ton and he worked really hard to support his family. And I love that he still calls his wife his bride after how many years, Casey?
20, what year are we in now? 26. So it'll be
Better get that
27 years
right.
this year.
Yeah, send deal to
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
But I love that he still calls her his bride. I love that he doesn't try to say, "Oh, we are 50-50," and even back in the day when she was an educator, Casey was gone all the time. And so I think that but because she was the primary one at home, she would naturally default to that role. But I know Casey, and he's a really wonderful dude. So we're going to burn you a little bit, but I just want to say that, like, he's a badass guy and a really good person. So, but now let's talk about other things that maybe men aren't so good at. And I'm just kidding.
The list is long.
Casey, I mean, all jokes aside, I do think that the emotional regulation and the sort of the CEO of the emotions in the family is a role that is probably hard pressed to ever be moved away from women. I think we're naturally just dialed in that way, and men can either consciously make an effort to be better at it, or they are told to be better at it, but I don't think it's your default setting. So no disrespect. If she was 98%, now she's 100%, you still got your mullet. A little bit of freedom. I got freedom. Yeah, who do I need to go hug?
I got power.
Casey, what is the most quote unquote man thing you've ever done? Like just a dude, like you're just like, oh my God, I was such a dude.
What's the statute of limitations? 6 years,
None,
7 years?
Point.
None. Just ever.
What's the most man dude thing I've ever done? I mean, it's kind of embarrassing. I've been hit by a car 4 times. Would that be good?
Explain, please.
Okay, just a quick context. How many of those times were you drunk?
0. Totally 100. Yeah. I mean, you want drunk?
No, I'm curious how you got in this scenario more than once. I was giving you grace. I assumed if you got into that scenario more than one time that you had to have been drunk, but no, now I'm really curious.
Was it the same car?
Sober. No, 4 separate occasions. One time I was riding a bike. The second time I was mowing a lawn. That one's a good one. The third one, I was crossing a street. I went over the hood like TJ Hooker, and then the fourth one, I was riding a moped on the Michigan State campus and T-boned, and I got T-boned. Well, I ran into a car. And yeah.
So you T-boned the car.
Yeah, well, he got my way.
Yeah, clearly because you
T-boned him. I'm very curious. I understand all of them except for the mowing the lawn.
The lawn.
I'm gonna need to understand that a bit more.
That feels like a TikTok clip we should have seen.
Listen, if that thing was happening today and a Nest camera got it, I would not be sitting here. I'd be collecting royalties on from advertisers. I was literally, growing up, I was a neighborhood kid, that kid that like babysat, cut everyone's grass, blah, blah. Actually, I did a LinkedIn post today. Like I did lawn mowing service when I was 12 years old. And I think I was maybe 15 or so. And I'm cutting the grass and I turn around in the street and I'm walking. I'm probably about 10, 15 feet onto the grass, walking toward the house. And the next thing I know, I'm laying on the ground, back spread eagle. And the mower kept going because it was like a power mower. And I somehow look around and this woman was further up. And so she was driving down the street, went to go wave at a neighbor. And as she waved at the neighbor, she steered into the grass and literally took me. I never saw it coming. You want to hear the funny part is?
Last thing I would expect would be to be run over on the lawn while I was cutting it.
Funny part is I was her daughter's tutor.
Oh, dear.
She was in I think she was in elementary school at the time, and I was her math tutor. So that was like uncomfortable.
Good for her that it was the 80s because today that shit happens. Of course. Like you would still not be. Actually, you'd still be on here because you'd still want.
You know what my dad said? My dad said you should have seen her coming. That was it.
No, he did not.
He's like, you should have seen her coming. I'm like, dude, I had my Walkman on. I'm walking. I wasn't really looking for crosstown traffic here up in the grass.
Who would be? I felt kind of safe here on the lawn from traffic. Silly me. Unless your house was on the very busy intersection in the corner.
No, it was in a neighborhood. It was in Anytown, USA, in a neighborhood. 20-mile-an-hour speed limit.
You definitely win if there was a contest for how many times have you been hit by a car and survived without, really bad injuries. You win. Also, I don't want to play that game. My answer right now is 0.
I always tell people when we cross the street, if I'm in New York, I'm like, never walk next to me because it's been 20, 25 years since I've been hit. And I go, dude, my time's coming. I can feel it. I've had some close calls.
You're due? Oh, don't. I don't even want to. I want to knock wood because this feels jinxy.
Yeah.
Let me just say this. When I walk across the street, and I learned this in Italy, the first time I went before I went with you, Casey, is that I look drivers, like we were in New York, I look them dead in the eye and like, I dare you. I dare you. So I make sure that I have locked eye contact with that driver or drivers. And like, you know, the little crazy I get behind my eyes sometimes, that is
Never seen it. Not once.
No, I've never seen it.
That is in full form. Raise, like, I dare you. Hit me. I could use a week in the hospital and just sue you.
I just find it interesting that I make eye contact with the drivers too, mostly because I want them to see me. You see me, right? Like I'm here. It's not a dare. It's more of a woo over here. Don't run me over. But
Kelly,
I like your approach too.
My kids are young.
Fuck you, driver.
Like, I don't want anything really bad to happen to me or whatever.
I just need a holiday.
I could use a week of sleep in a hospital. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Like, that kind of sounds lovely.
I don't want a
someone else
traumatic
taking care of your kid.
Yeah. No traumatic brain injury, but a little concussion wouldn't go amiss. I mean, just a holiday.
I'm good with that.
Just where I could lay in a dark room and not talk to anyone or think about anything for a week. It sounds lovely.
Well, I love that you know that there's women on this call, Casey, because you regaled us of these crazy stories, and at no point did we feel it was a competition. Like, oh yeah, well this one time, right? But if we were three men, I'm pretty sure we would have turned even getting hit by a car into a contest. Why is that?
Why do you guys do that?
Why is everything?
Why is everything a contest?
Yeah,
I don't know.
like every stupid TikTok video that starts with "Hey, watch this" is always men. They're never girls.
Hold my beer.
Hold my beer. That's exactly what I was going to do. And I told my son, I give a speech sometime when I talk to young people. I'm like, I am so glad I grew up in the 70s and 80s because I did so much stupid shit and there ain't no record of it. I can't tell you. I watch and I'm like, I shudder to think if I had a smartphone or a camera on me when I was in middle school, high school, and college, like, first of all, I'd be probably an internet sensation, but I would be like, I just think of and could you imagine if I filmed that moment in high school, college, or even after college, make no mistake.
Yeah.
You know, and, that's just that's a dude thing. I'm 54 years old. And everything's a competition. You know, I get together with my buddies. I don't care what it is. Chicken wings to golf to, hey, you think I could do a backflip off this boat? Bro, you haven't done a backflip your whole life. You ain't going to start now.
You're making
but
me
you got $5, you can't do it.
Suddenly I could do it. I can do it. It's $5 and my pride on the line here. My husband is up in the northern part of Ontario, Canada on an RV trip with his 5 friends. They have a sportsman adventure club, which is just code for He-Man Woman Haters Club.
Exactly right.
But you're making me worried that what crazy dumb fuckery are they up to? Some contest with a raccoon, I'm sure, or an ice flow on the Wawa River.
There's probably snow on the ground up
there
in
is.
Ontario.
There is snow. He sent me photos.
Yeah.
I was like, looks lovely. Also, no thank you.
I
Christy's
mean,
like, I try to get us back on topic.
No, I'm laughing. I'm thinking about, like, even just, I'm thinking about a couple of things, and maybe we'll transition a little bit into parenting. But, you talked at first about men being emotionally unavailable. And I had a moment last night. It was a parenting moment and a male moment because I have a 7-year-old son who's incredible at sports. He hates soccer. And last night were 7-year-old soccer tryouts. And he walked off the field, like, screaming, like, at the top of his lungs, he hit me, da-da-da-da. And all the parents are looking. And I'm like, hey, buddy, come here. He's like, I want to go home. And he's, I want to go home. Like, everybody can hear him. And I just calmly, I'm like, well, we're going to calm down because we don't make decisions when we're this upset, so we need to breathe and think through it a little bit. And so why don't you sit on the ground, drink your water, whatever. And he went back out there again, came back, same thing. And let me just tell you, this kid, like, plays basketball with his buddies in the neighborhood, loves football, loves baseball, but soccer, for some reason, we've had more meltdowns with soccer. And so, of course, he goes back out there and then he comes back and I'm sitting there and I'm like, do I shove him back out again and be like, stop being a baby? And, like, because I'm a freaking Gen X. I'm like, dust your knees off.
Rub some dirt on it, kid.
Yeah.
But Colton's a tough kid, but I'm like, what am I showing him in this? And I'm like, he's done. He is done. He is 7 years old. I'm not going to shame him. I'm not going to tell him, yes, he'll grow out of throwing fits, hopefully. I mean, I do know some grown-ass men that still throw fits, but those are probably because they're emotionally unavailable and don't know how to healthily process their emotions. And I was thinking about that last night when I was in this moment where I just wanted to scream at him and be like, get your shit together. This is rather embarrassing. But then I'm like, he's 7. So all that to say is I had one of those pivotal parenting moments. And, I feel like with a little girl, it would have been a totally different situation for people to watch. One of the moms was like,
You would do this. You would act the same exact way if your daughter did this,
Right.
when she
But
was 7?
I felt judgment from some parents. Like,
Mm.
they're like, kind of because this is, this is club soccer. This isn't like rec, whatever. And so definitely people looking, and this one couple said to me, they're like, man, that was some amazing patience. Like that was some good work. I was like, well, thank you. I said, I'm just trying to raise a son that's emotionally available.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. Because I think that well, I shouldn't think, Casey, you could jump in, but I would say in my experience of raising boys, even my response may have been a little more ease, which would have been like, "Why are you crying? Stop crying. Get out there. You're fine."
There's no
Would I
crying in
Yeah, there's no crying
baseball.
in soccer.
We don't cry in
Would
baseball. We
would
cry
I
in
say that
soccer.
to my daughter? No, probably not.
Mm.
I might mean the same thing, but I'd say it in a very different way, so
Well, here's what's
I'm
funny. I'm harder on Presley. She's older, right?
Well,
She's
she's also a little you. So I think as a woman raising your daughter, especially the more your daughter is like you know what's in front of her. So you're like, listen to me. I know best here. So you get frustrated more when it's closer to you.
yeah, like, I guess that's fair. I'm like, listen, I know you're tough. Pull your shit together. You can't cry on the court. You get your crying from your mama. Once you're off the court, go have a breakdown and come back and be a badass. But
Yeah.
Colton, I'm like,
But I think we could fast forward 4 years and Colton might have a meltdown at 11 and you'll be like, "It's okay, buddy. I want you to regulate your emotions." And I might say, "Lady, when that was Presley, you were like, get your shit together. Go cry in the locker room and get back out here."
Presley's 11 though too. So
No, that's
Presley,
what I'm saying. In 4 years, when Colton is 11, I'll be curious if you take a Presley approach to Colton when he's 11.
I think so. I mean, I'm a bit fuck around and find out. Mostly at home though. Like I don't tend to do it like in front of people as much.
Well, let's flip the switch. So, Casey, you have a son and a daughter.
Yeah.
Pick a scenario. Do you treat your daughter differently than your son in a
I've been
frustrating moment?
well, it's funny. I've been reflecting on that as you were telling the stories. And I think because I've had those. Actually, I have a 15-year-old son and a 20-year-old daughter, and I had that Colton moment very recently. And I know, that moment when you realize you're your mom or your dad.
Yeah.
I am my father. I am a mixture of Bill Burr meets Sebastian Maniscalco meets, my father. Like, I just, and I've had moments. I'll tell you a great one was my son was like 8 years old, and we were in Seattle, and I'm a huge sports fan, and we have all become the parents we vowed we never would be. And we're in Seattle. We're going to go to the baseball game. And on the way to the stadium, had a great dinner. We're walking to the stadium. And my son says, "Dad, are we in a suite?" And, and
CMO
I,
kids, CMO kids,
yeah,
CMO kid.
and I said, "No, buddy." But the good news is I got great tickets from MLB. We're sitting right behind the dugout. The Tigers are playing in Seattle. We're going to be right by the Tigers. You're going to see Miguel Cabrera, blah, blah, blah. And we're probably eighth of a mile from the stadium. My son sat on the sidewalk and had the most complete shit fit on that sidewalk. And he refused to get vertical and traverse back towards the stadium. And I stood over him, and for about 5 seconds, I stood there looking at him, and I turned to my wife and I said, "I'm willing to go to jail." I go, "Cynthia, I'm going to go to jail right now, and I'm going to be okay with it." And she's like, "You need to call. You need to." I go, "I got. What, you know what I'm gonna do? I am going to walk away right now. I am going to forward you the tickets, and I will see you inside the stadium."
I'm
And
gonna remember something.
as I walked away, I mean, I was pissed beyond belief, and still to this day telling the story, I'm mad. But as I walked away,
I'm
and
mad for you.
as mad as I was at my son, as I walked away, I'm like, it's my damn fault.
I
Because
set this bar.
this kid, guess who else likes sweets? Daddy.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't know what a lower deck of a stadium was until I got out of college. And, in the business that I'm in and Christy's in, like, we're pretty fortunate. We could go do some cool shit. And daddy likes sweets and daddy likes to, shake hands with players and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I fucked up. Man, I had become the dad I always vowed I wouldn't be. And then you just see that over and, there's
Yeah.
moments like that at 15 and 20 where I'm like, oh, as pissed as I am, I'm like, I better look in the mirror, bro. because you're contributed to that.
Do you have sisters?
I have a sister, yeah, 2 years younger, super close. She's the darling of the house.
And
She's the
how
what of
did
the house?
how did your dad raise her differently than you?
Oh, you kidding me? Her
Okay.
shit didn't stink.
Are
Like
you that
I would.
same dad then to your daughter? Does her shit not stink?
She has her moments, but yeah, I'm much tougher on my son. I'm much tougher
For
on my
sure.
son. I'm
Sure,
a
sure,
daddy's
sure.
girl. I'm a girl's dad. But yeah, dude, my sister, I was the pioneer. You can always tell a pioneer by the amount of arrows in his back. And she got to do everything I didn't get to do as a kid. I mean,
Would your
the second I went to college, man, they'd be going to Red Lobster on a Thursday or Friday. I'm like, shit, I never went to, Wendy's Super Bar was like high-end dining for me growing up. And she's going
I
to Red
swear.
Lobster and Applebee's on a Friday. I'm like, the hell, what happened here?
I want to mark this episode, Christy, because I'm sure that Casey's son is going to say the same fucking thing when he's grown. My sister got everything, and then when I was yeah. It's the eternal debate, dads and daughters.
But here's the deal. It's really interesting though, because while I'm harder on Presley, and you're right, Kelly, I am harder on Presley because she is a mini me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I know what's in there, so let's go. But Bo is softer on Presley and harder on Colton.
Oh, totally.
So
Andrew is my husband, Casey. We have 2 sons. They moved out of the house to go to college when they were 17 and 18. And my husband was like, bye, have a great time. I don't ever remember him. I wonder what the boys are doing. I wonder if they got home safe. I wonder, My daughter leaves this house and my husband's tracking her on the fucking iPhone. Like, where is she? And so when she goes away, he's no end of worrying about her out loud to me, which I think is sweet. But I'm like, hey, when the boys left, like you didn't worry about them one little bit. He goes, they're boys. It's different. I'm like, it's different, all right. So it's just and I do think it is sweet because as a girl, you're kind of like, he's setting a bar for all of the future men in my life.
Listen, we also know what we were like at that age.
True. Exactly. You know what they were in for.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay, then you call your wife your bride, which you're right, Christy, is very sweet. Are you as soft on your wife as you are on your daughter?
Am I soft? No.
See, this is the part where I'm like, what the fuck? Of anyone in this house who my husband should be most soft to, it's me.
You're right. Now, the good news is she doesn't listen to the podcast. She'll never hear this unless someone sends it to her.
I'm going to send it to her.
Do not.
Christy, give me the email.
I can see her. I can see her through the window right now, judging me.
Casey kept me and her very separate.
Oh, on purpose.
I don't have her number. He's like, I'll be like texting her. Your husband's.
Now, there's work Casey and there's home Casey.
Okay. So Casey,
let's get into that. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
It's related. You said, oh my God, I'm my dad. I never wanted to be. What do you hope your kids don't inherit from you?
Utter lack of patience. I have the patience of a gnat.
True.
And attention. Okay, first of all, that wasn't very nice. Second of all,
it's a quick response, though.
And I have attention span of not even a goldfish.
Yes.
But Casey, I say that because I am the same.
Yeah,
Have you known me to ever be patient?
Zero.
And my attention span is like, I mean, you get Casey and I in the same room. Like, it's bad.
You are in the same room, virtually. Well,
I'm doing my best. I'm digging my nails into my leg to not talk. I'm like, shut up, Chrissy. Just stop talking. Listen. Okay.
So patience. What else? There's got to be. Christy mentioned you worked a ton away. Like, is there anything there as a dad that you're like, ooh, I hope they don't inherit that from me?
Yeah, patience and empathy. I'm empathetic. I don't show it enough. I'm empathetic behind the scenes. And we're Gen Xers. We probably grew up in very similar households. I grew up in the world of, rub dirt on it and everything was solved with a belt.
Yeah.
And I always thought as a parent, I'm like, all right, cool. And then the first time I went to go use a belt, I was like, wait a minute, I could go to jail for this. But
that was the 80s. I think that was the 80s, though.
Yeah, was it?
I think everyone got beat with a belt in the 80s.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
I
My
chose
mom,
the
how many
belt
wooden
over the
spoons?
hand.
Did you
I
ever
had
get
a
the wooden
chance.
spoon?
My mom was wooden spoons, mostly
Yeah.
because she was in the kitchen. My
Yeah.
dad was belt or hand, and my dad was 6'7". That's a man with a big hand. I took the belt, man. It covered less surface area.
My dad was a firefighter, and firefighters wear like utility size belts.
Yay.
And he used to take it, and then he'd get up
Snap
out of the
it.
chair.
You'd hear it?
Yeah, he'd take off
Yes.
his belt, and then so you'd be in another room, and you hear the snap, snap, and then it was like, run,
Shit.
lock yourself. And we didn't even have door locks. We had these little pinholes. They
Yep.
weren't even door locks.
Yes.
And so my dad would come, and you take the toothpick out, and then it was like a horror movie, and you'd see the jiggle. You remember Dumb and Dumber when Jim Carrey's in the bathroom and all of a sudden the door opens and
Yes.
Seabass is there?
Yeah,
That'd be me in the bathroom. The door would open. There'd be my dad with a toothpick in his mouth and the
Belt in his
belt.
hand.
Yeah, I was like,
You're like, it
shit.
wasn't me.
It wasn't me.
Casey, one thing to know about
Oh,
Kelly,
sorry.
she
Yeah.
doesn't get a single movie reference. So just like when you
She
say that,
doesn't?
direct
Oh
those
my
to me.
gosh.
She can't remember movies.
Okay. I'll
And I
send you a
speak
clip.
in movie lines, like, right? Like, I mean, that's
Oh.
my love language. So just so you know, when she
I couldn't
looks
tell
at
you my anniversary, but I could recite pretty much every 80s movie.
See, it is a skill I kind of wish I had, but at the same time, my Dory abilities to remember anything, the good news is I can watch and enjoy over and over again, which I do enjoy
It's
enjoying movies. So
first time. My good parenting stories. My dad, there were 9 of us. And so he had this thing where if one got in trouble, everyone got spanked, which
He was an equal
Yeah.
opportunist.
that's risky when a family of 9 kids, because chances are good that somebody's fucking around and you're just going to be
correct.
constantly in
What it made
trouble.
us do is like turn on each other, right? Like we ended up like parenting each other because we're like, oh, listen, fuck around. I don't want my ass whipped, and like stop it. You stop it right now. So
What happened if the one, say kid 4 in the Diesel household never was the rebel rouser, blah, blah, blah. How did they
well, she was,
if you were like a perfect angel, I'd turn into something evil. I'm like, I might as well get something out of this if I'm going to get the beating no
I
matter
might as well
what.
stir some shit up.
well,
Yeah,
okay,
I might as well stir this.
the angel in our family was number 2, the first daughter, Melissa, who still to this day, like, she's like, I just never understood why you guys jumped on the bed. Like, they told you not to do it. Why would you do it? When I say all of us, I really mean Angela, Liz, and I, because we were very, like, we were born within like 3 years of each other. Jenny sometimes got through into the mix, but I really mean those 3.
So on the bell curve, it was really you in the middle, the source of most
it was.
deserved. It was really Melissa and poor
Mhm.
Jenny who were getting the raw end of the stick. Quite
they
literally,
didn't
they were
actually.
getting it.
When I say all of us, it was when I misspoke. It was Angela, Liz, and I. And I mean, we equally probably deserved it. He did the same thing with our curfew. Like, we were all in high school at the same time. And so every minute you were late got shaved permanently off your curfew. But I guess if you have 3 daughters, and I mean, I'm not going to give my dad any props because, well, he's not a very nice person. But if anyone was late, 1 minute shaved off everyone's.
For every
Really?
minute you were late, one
minute got shaved off.
Everyone's curfew.
The 3 of us. When I say everyone, I mean the 3 of us.
Oh, the 3
I
of
kind of
they're
like that. You know
troublemakers.
why? 'Cause
I
they
think
probably-
this is a brilliant plan.
I was
They
the
probably create
hellion.
some self-policing, right?
Exactly.
Like, hey, Christy, you ain't screwing me out of my date next Friday by
You better get
da-da-da."
home.
Oh, we weren't allowed to date, Casey. Come
Well,
on
you
now.
know,
That's
you
just silly. I grew up in a cult. Okay, so you forget about that one. But anyways, I was 14 and they were Liz was 16, Angela was 17. I mean, I was the hellion. I was like, and they would chase me around our hometown and be like, where the hell is she? We got to go find this bitch. Sorry, guys.
If you're looking, I mean, look at the absolute surprise on both Casey and my face when you say that. Shocker. A real
Zero.
shocker.
When you're the 5th of 9, someone's done everything better than you. So you might as well just go have fun because you're not going to be the smartest, the prettiest, or the best at anything because somebody's already claimed those. So I was like, well, I'm just going to go do my own thing. So I still do
blaze
that.
my own trail.
Awkward.
You still do that.
I do still do that.
Let's little more on parenting.
Yeah.
So, Casey, you've had a very interesting professional life and done some fun shit, no doubt. I would assume as an entrepreneur like Christy, you're very ambitious. So do you think that as an ambitious parent, you put that kind of expectation on your children too, to be equally ambitious? Do you turn their childhood basically into a performance review? Like,
Yeah.
what does it look like?
Listen, there's been a number of times, meaning hundreds of times, where I've been given feedback by my wife that they are not your interns.
Mm.
You know,
But, I
like,
mean, you do pay for
yeah,
everything for them.
But they kind of
yeah.
are because they're learning from you, but okay.
It goes back to those moments of we always promised, we always said we wouldn't be the parent, like I don't want to be my dad, and then you realize that you're your dad. But there's also those moments like as growing up, I'm like, all right, how can I provide more opportunities or more than what I'm blessed enough to have received from my parents. So putting pressure on myself, but then as we get all older and our kids get older, your kids are out of school, are out of the house, Kelly, like you're going to be a grandmother before you know it. Right, and
Yes.
Christy and I are gonna be one, in the next 10, 20 years, whatever it might be, and then
Gonna need a little more time.
now I'm starting to think about, like, "All right, I'm gonna be a grandparent within 10 years,
Well, I do.
and am I
Yeah.
setting my kids up right to be the parents, hopefully, that they're not like they've learned from my mistakes,
Well,
and
I
are they
think that,
gonna,"
yeah,
that's what I'm thinking of.
I think every parent is probably like fully expecting their children will grow up into parents who go, I don't want to be like my dad or my mom. Like, I
Mhm.
think that's just kind of our lot in life. We're trying to do everything our parents did or didn't do. And now we're fucking it up, obviously. We will have over indexed on some things, and our kids will grow up and go, I am never going to do that. And we should probably map it because they probably revert to like our grandparents and they went back to that way of raising kids.
Well, I mean, honestly, though, like, first of all, I want to address something. One, Kelly, you talked about Casey and I being driven. You are incredibly driven, right? So, as it's just for the sake of fun, call us successful business people who primarily provided for our families, right? We all were the primary breadwinners. It's interesting that when we talk about, you know, raising kids and doing all the things that we talk about, think that for me at least, I naturally hold myself to a much higher level, and I'm try to be really intentional with my parenting because I don't have as much time.
Mm.
Right? Like, I can't bake you cookies because A, I can't bake, but, like, and I have to work, right? And I have to, I try to be there for the kids when I can. I try to go to the 10:30 sessions they have at school, which I'm like, "Who picked 10:30? It's the worst time of the day. Like, do it in the morning first thing or do it at the end of the day, but can we not do 10:30 so that you screw up my entire workday? That'd be freaking fantastic." So, I don't know. I mean, I know, Casey, you're like, I'm turning into my dad." I will definitely say I am neither of my parents. And
Really?
I think no, I am I'm a good my mom was a good mom. But I don't know, I think that for me, having less time to parent, and also I'm a single mom, so I have even less time with them than you guys get. Well, Kelly, you did it once, but I'm really intentional with my parenting, and I'm gonna say this, and maybe this is unpopular, but I'm a damn good mom. So I hope to God that my kids take some of that, like some of that empathy, some of that fun, because I always have fun. Like, let's
Yeah.
have fun, right? We've got
Yeah.
to be serious. We got to whatever. But like, I want my kids to know, like, I got your back. You are loved. I will cuss you out in private, but not in public, right? Like I don't know. I feel like I don't have that feeling. I don't feel like, I mean, I have moments where I'm like, God, I'm the worst mom ever. I'm terrible. I'm awful. But
We all have those.
if I look consistently through my kid's life, I'm like, damn, I'm a damn good mom, especially while like being the breadwinner.
Yeah, it's interesting. I was talking to my son on the weekend because we were talking about last week's podcast on Enneagram, and I'm almost positive that Brady and I would have the exact same Enneagram because we are basically he's the boy version of me, I think. You're welcome. But one of the things we were talking about, he mentioned something, and I took it to heart in a bad way. So I'm curious, Casey, to hear as a man if you would have taken it the same way or if you view it differently. But he had mentioned, like we were talking about it being based in your childhood and how you grew up, and I was talking about my parents, and he was describing his parents, and when he came to describe me, he said my mom prioritized work. And I took it in a very negative way, like that he
Yeah.
was saying it like a bad thing. And I should have just asked, do you mean that in a bad way? But I'm curious, is that the dynamic of I'm the mom? I was supposed to be there at everything at 10:30. I was supposed to bake cookies. Or was it just that I have an ambitious work-oriented parent? It just happens to be that it was the female. Do you feel that way? Like, do you, if a kid described you as my dad prioritized work, and those may
Yeah.
not have been the exact words he used, but it was like my mom worked in that kind of a way.
No, I've gotten that feed.
How would you
Yeah.
take that?
I would get it. I would take it the same exact way that you did. If, like, when I heard you just say it, like, you feel that
You
little
feel a twing? Okay, good, 'cause I felt
twang.
the same. I was like,
I
"Don't
mean, I
cry."
like, listen, and I'm sure if my, son or daughter were here, they'd tell you the same exact thing. Like, work was number one.
Yeah.
But, this is where I sound like my dad. I always give my dad shit. Like, Dad, you never took me anywhere. He was a firefighter and worked a part-time job, and he always gives me shit. Like, why do you go to so many sporting events? I go, because you never took me. He goes, well, I was goddamn working, put you and your sister through school. Again,
Yeah,
I'm like my father, and when I hear that, I'm like, well, I'm doing everything so I can, can go on spring breaks and you can have camp and you can wear your
exactly.
Jordans.
But that's
Exactly.
true. Like, that
It
is
is
true,
true.
though.
It is
I mean,
true.
whenever Presley does she gives me very little shit about working. She actually thinks it's really cool that I get to work with my best friends and all those things, but I do have to travel occasionally. And she gets real crazy. And I think she's just jealous, to be honest. She's like, well, why can't I go with you? That sounds like a blast. But like, I'm like, listen, bro, you play club sports, right? Like, and those are not cheap. Not
No.
cheap.
Yeah.
You like your nice clothes. Like, we go on vacations. Like, we do all of these things. How do you think that we do them?
Yeah.
They have no idea.
Yeah, they don't. I guess they don't until they're in the situation, and then they're like, "Oh my god, I'm my dad or I'm my mom." You realize, shit, that's what it took to do these things. So I guess I wouldn't have ever explicitly said, "I'm doing this so you can do all these fun things," but that is why you're doing it, right? Like, I'm trying to give you all the
Kelly, I
things
have a
that we
question
didn't
back
have.
for you.
Yeah.
When you were a kid, your two boys are at school, or all three?
They're graduated. They're 27. They're older,
Okay,
yeah.
they're 27. And I asked this, my daughter just went to college last year, and when I talk to friends of mine, kids that go away to school, and I know who their parents are, right? And I know if they're like, I have a friend specifically, the mom is super controlling, and her daughter went to college this past year, and she came home, and I was like, how is it? She's like, I didn't realize how much my mom and dad did for me until I left.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like all of us, like, it took for me to get out of college to realize, like, oh my God, my dad supplied all of this for us on a fireman's salary. I thought we were
Yeah.
rich growing up. I didn't realize, we weren't. I
Yeah.
kind of felt we were.
Yeah.
But do you feel like if your boys were on here today, they would say, like, mom prioritized work, but now I understand why. I think
Well,
there's phases. Presley's going to get there, and I think my kids are going to get there too.
yeah, it's a good question, because what I probably should have done in the moment, especially when I felt that like heart twinge, is I should have double clicked on that statement and just said, "Hey, when you say those words, what do you mean by them?" Because he may have meant it exactly like you described it. He's now 27. They bought their first house. They've been paying the bills for years. They have full-time jobs, and they know how expensive lifing is, just as two adults. So he may have just meant it as a statement of fact. I had a parent who was very much in a professional track and wanted to continue to grow, and we got to do these things. And I had another parent who went in this other direction. So I should have maybe just asked him. And I know Bella's going to watch the podcast, so she will be like, "Brady, you should call your mom. You hurt her feelings."
I'm
He
gonna
may
call
not have
Brady. I'm gonna be
intended
like, listen, bro, can we talk about
I
this for a
should,
minute?
in fairness, I should just ask the question that follows the statement. Like, "Hey, wait, when you say that, what did you mean? Because here's what I heard." And that, as parents, we all just heard it exactly the same way. And as kids, he may not have intended it that way. And if he did, then I am going to have a different conversation.
Mhm.
Like, well,
It is a good question, though, because it's kind of getting at work-life balance, right? And quite frankly, there's no such fucking thing.
nope, there's
It's
not.
bullshit.
Balance isn't real, right? It's a rhythm, maybe. It's a rhythm. And we go through these very different rhythms. Christy, you are in like a percussion solo right now, and just like everything is going on. And I might be on a flute solo because the kids are grown and less responsibility, but it's not balance.
My mom, it's funny. My mom just recently moved in with me, and her feedback to me has been like, this is insanity. Like their
Yeah.
sports schedules alone, right? Like coordinating that and signing everyone up and making sure Colton has camp for the summer and a nanny here and, or for Presley and her friends, whatever. That's a different story. But yeah, I mean, I'm in it. Like I'm really in it. My kids need me to almost wipe their ass. Plus they're like, they need everything, and their sports schedules are worse than my meeting schedules.
Yeah. Yeah. And you still have to cook all the meals yourself. Nobody else is helping because they're too young and all those things.
Yeah, but guess what? I have not done a single dish or a
Oh,
piece of
isn't that
laundry since my
different?
mom moved in. Y'all, it
Love
is
you.
Nice.
magical. I like
Um,
get the kids to school and then I run upstairs and I start working. And when I come down to get like water or something, the dishes are magically done. And
like
Really?
she's sitting there on the couch folding laundry, and I'm just like, I love you. She's like, I don't cook anymore. And I'm like, I do cook.
Fair.
That's my love language. I will feed people.
I like
Been
cooking, so
amazing.
you clean
Will
up
she do
after it.
will she do the sports running? Okay.
She's 78. I don't really want my mom running and gunning. I mean, she'll come to sporting events, but she's recently decided that she doesn't like some of the elements with soccer. Like every time we go out there, it's either super hot, super cold, super windy, whatever. She's like, "When's Presley's next volleyball tournament?"
Yeah. Let's skip
Um,
soccer.
but
Let's
no,
skip
I don't even ask that ever, Casey, because like she doesn't like to drive. So like
Oh, yeah.
I
Nor do
just
you.
don't.
Nor do
Well, I
you.
don't either, but I can't afford someone to drive me around yet.
It's
Soon.
true.
Soon I
Yeah.
will be able to,
I love
Kelly.
manifest. Casey, you
Yes.
mentioned your dad was a firefighter and had another part-time job. What'd your mom do?
Mom was stay-at-home mom for the most part, and then when we got into school, she started working at McDonald's, like
Oh,
easy
nice.
job, flexible hours, and she's an amazing mom. My parents are both
Yeah.
alive and has become a great grandmother. Grandpa just
That's
sits on his,
awesome.
grandpa just sits in the chair, watches Fox News and,
Oh,
says
shit.
Google it. Now he says AI it all the time
AI
now.
it. Oh my God.
AI, I've been teaching him AI lately. Gotta keep him
Nice.
up with the times.
That's hilarious.
Remember
I've been
though,
teaching mom how to like,
AI?
yeah. So
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
like, this is
Yeah.
ChatGPT. And I know Claude's the new favorite for everyone. I'm
No,
working
just
on it,
keep them
but
simple. Like Gemini, if they like Google, keep them in Gemini
Yeah,
or just give them.
Gemini.
well, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm just like, they're different platforms. They're all
Yeah.
eventually going to be able to do the same things. It's just that when AI first started, hitting, I was like, someone that can do my work for me or help me with it, absolutely sign me up.
Absolutely.
Let's
Yeah.
fucking go. I actually had to teach Kelly about it. But anyways, but now my mom uses ChatGPT as like Google.
Now I
Yeah.
use ChatGPT as our show producer and just kind of like, hey, if we were a movie, what characters are we? And I like to upload previous transcripts and the most recent transcripts and like speak to the evolution of this podcast, talk about any language patterns that we have. Like there's so much you can learn from it. So it's a great admin. But I'm curious, it's interesting because especially for your dad then, I think the thing that is different for us as ambitious professional people than even our parents' generation is their work used to stay at work.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Our
wouldn't
work
that be nice?
is never just at work. It's literally we're all doing our jobs in our house right now today, right? So that's a different angle when it comes to balancing your life and how you can be present when work is omnipresent, right?
I mean, I just did a podcast interview with a 23-year-old. He's a young professional in Detroit, and he's interviewing marketing professionals in Detroit. He's like, I want to have a CMO on. The kid reached out to me on LinkedIn, and he went to Michigan State. I always help Spartans out. I'm like, sure, I'll do it. And I just did an interview with him the other day, and I was telling him that. I go, dude, when I was your age, I was working at an agency, right? And we didn't have fax machines. I didn't have a lot. We were talking about networking. And I'm
Yeah.
like, here's what networking looked like. I left the office and we went to a happy hour because someone was getting fired or someone was getting promoted or leaving. Or we would go to the weekly ad club meetings with the free chicken dinner. I was making 18 grand a year and you get a free chicken. So I went to that. I go, that was networking. And I go, but also when I left at 5 o'clock, no one was calling me at home. I didn't have a fax. And whatever I left at work was waiting there for me at 8
Yeah,
o'clock.
when
And
I
I go,
came back.
it wasn't that long ago where, flying from Detroit to LA was the best 4 hours of my life because I'm like, no one can get me.
Unreachable. Yep.
Now it's like, when are you going to be at 10,000 feet so we can get on this Teams call? Because you can take a Teams call on an airplane now.
I did not know
Sorry,
you
don't
could do
tell your employer that. Yeah.
no, I knew
I
of
take Teams
obviously
calls now on
Wi-Fi, but
planes.
I don't
Yeah.
okay, but
You don't
Casey
talk, but you type. But
I was
I
gonna
know.
say, because if you talk and Christy's on that
No,
plane,
I don't
she's
talk.
gonna
I don't
hit you
talk.
with your laptop.
I tell people I will type only, but I will dial
Yeah.
in and yeah, no,
Okay. No,
I'm
thank
bad.
you. That's insulting.
I
Don't
still
look
I
at
still
me on a
protect that
plane.
time. I get more work
Yes,
done on planes. Like I'm like because I don't have anyone bugging me. There's like
correct.
my ADHD is at an all-time low because I've probably taken a Xanax because I don't like to fly. And I
Two
get a whole lot.
martinis. It
No,
isn't
I
it's
try
an
not. We don't
it
mix those, Kelly.
Wait,
okay.
Zanny and what?
This is
March.
booze.
Oh,
I don't
I don't
know.
want to die young. Okay, I'm still in my 40s, kids.
Christy gave me one Xanax when I was at her house because I was having shit sleeps and we had to get up so early for volleyball. I'm like, I have to fall asleep, Christy, at whatever. It was like 8 p.m. And of course I'm on Pacific time. And so Christy's like, okay, I'm going to give you this. Have you ever had these? I'm legit have had one Xanax in my entire life and it was before surgery. So she's like, okay, what dose was it? I have no idea. This is either going to go
how'd it
really
work?
well or really terribly. Well, she was smart and said, take half of it. And then if in 15 minutes you haven't yet fallen asleep, then take the other half. Of course, I had a half and then went sleepy night. So
Good.
that's my
Cool.
Xanax story.
Way to, you know what? No more for you because you're not supposed to do that. And you just
Yeah. Way
outed
to
me.
distribute
Oh, yes,
prescription
true.
drugs.
Listen,
We'll cut this part. We'll cut this part.
no,
from
I
the
mean,
podcast.
leave it on there. I mean, if but I don't know. I never did that. I don't know what you're talking about. I think you were
Yeah.
hallucinating at the time. I'm going to deny it because it didn't happen. So fun stuff as working parents and, just trying to live our damn lives. What is the most like unhinged thing you've done when you're not supposed to be working? Like what is like if you had to open your book of shame times that you were working that you shouldn't have been, what would they be?
Well, let me tell you my all-time worst one.
Yes, please.
It's not good though.
It's okay. Kelly just called me a drug dealer. It's fine.
I've actually never talked about it. So Christy knows we adopted both of our children. And we were, my daughter was adopted. She was 4 years old. We started going through the process again. We got matched up with a beautiful young lady. We're very close with both moms still. And she was 2 weeks from delivering. And so her due date was X date. I was working at the ad agency. We were pitching some new business. And I was leading this new business pitch. And it was like on a Thursday, let's say. Wednesday at like 10 p.m., we get a phone call. She's going into labor. We ran down to the hospital. My son was born at 12:50, 1 o'clock in the morning. And my wife could see the look of angst on my face. And then, so we stayed up all night. And it was about 5 o'clock in the morning. Like everyone's healthy, everyone's good, and we're at home. And I'm just like, I was like, and I didn't have time to call anybody or text anybody. And she's like, are you thinking about this new business pitch? I'm like, yeah, and she's like, what do you think? I'm like, I got to do it. And she said, go ahead. And I literally left the hospital. I had to change the clothes in my car. I changed in a gas station bathroom, walked into the room. They didn't know. The people I pitched the business to didn't know. Like, hey, my son was born last night.
Yeah,
And
3 hours ago.
yeah. And I had no sleep. And we pitched and we ended up winning the business. But I remember I walked out of the room and I cried because I'm like, what the fuck did I just turn into? And I went back to the hospital. I slept for like 7 hours in the hospital room. But that's like, dude, it's kind of a funny story, but it's also embarrassing.
But it's
Like,
endearing.
what was
I'm
that?
going to
It
say
is
that
endearing.
that is endearing because when you are the sole provider predominantly, because
Yeah.
educators don't get paid well, what choice? I mean, everyone's like, draw boundaries and da-da-da-da-da. It's like, yeah, because the people that get promoted and continue to be
Yeah.
able to support their family are the ones with the
Drew a
most
line in the sand.
boundaries,
Yeah.
right? I mean, and so, like, I don't think, to me, and when I heard that, it kind of made me want to cry, but I'm not crying on this podcast because then Kelly posted it on social and it's very fucking embarrassing. But I'm sad for you that like that is the expectation, but I don't think that you're bad for it. I think
No.
a credit
still
to
this
you.
day feel guilty.
Why?
I will add.
Why?
I'm going to add this,
Who missed
Casey.
what? Why would you feel guilty?
No, because my priorities were not in order in that moment. That's what I feel shitty about.
I disagree. I
yeah.
think that when you are the sole provider predominantly for your family, that you have to make sacrifices of not being there sometimes. And who did it hurt, Casey? The
Yeah,
only person that was hurt in that moment was Casey.
I would add this too, Casey, 2 things. I heard you say, "I talked to my wife," and together you had the conversation. And the second thing I would say is, I feel as a woman very differently about how you feel about that moment because your wife did not deliver the baby. So if your
That's true.
wife was laying in the bed 20 minutes after
I
having
wanna
pushed a human out, she may have felt differently. But first, you checked in with her and she was aligned to you. And 2, she was completely healthy and standing up in there in 100% support of the new baby. So I'm with Christy on this. I think you were being a bit
All
too
right. Well,
hard
now
on
I don't
yourself.
feel bad.
Yeah,
Screw
you
it.
should. Purge that
You
guilt.
only carried it for 15 years. Let
Jesus
it go.
Christ. I've been carrying this burden since
See, this is therapy. This is therapy.
my
This
God.
this
Thank you,
podcast is
vertically
good.
unstable.
We're the most stable people that hey, listen, I've had Alexis's worth of therapy, okay? I feel like at this point, being in marketing and having a lot of personal therapy, I can completely say, you're in the clear, Casey. Let it go. Let it go, man. It's okay.
And and speaking of good advice, Casey, what's one thing that women are 100% right about?
Oh, shit.
Oh my God.
Not where you thought I was going to go. We were right about this one. So what's one thing we are 100% right about?
But while he's thinking, we are going back to unhinged moments with work and family.
Yes. Go back.
No. Women? Okay, good. Are you giving me a pass right now?
No, you still need to answer that.
I was
like
trying
right now?
Yeah, like I was trying to let you think about it while I kept talking. That's like the good talking, Christy.
You distracted him.
Casey, pay attention to your head. I'm just going to talk to Kelly for a minute.
Hey, you talk to her because I'm wrecked.
Question, Kelly.
Yeah, I know. Because I'm screwed either way.
Well, you just keep it mulling around in the back because I know you guys are really good about multitasking. So,
yeah, Casey's ADHD. So Casey actually can multitask a little bit.
Okay, perfect.
I'm stumped.
Stick that one in the mullet and let it cook for a minute.
Yeah, marinate it in the mullet.
Yeah,
come back to unhinged.
So let's go. Kelly, I want to hear some of yours. I have one. I once pitched business. Now it was over Zoom during vacation with my kids. I had to threaten them within an inch of their lives. I'm like, if you say a single word, we are going home. And my kids know me well enough at this point to know that when I'm not fucking around. And I got done with it and I'm like, you really couldn't have asked them just for like 2 more days,
Two
Christy?
more days.
Like 2 more days so that you could have a day. Because when you're pitching or when you're having any sort of like big presentation, you're absent for a day and a half at least before, right? Because you're thinking about it. It's like, yeah, go kids, jump back in that pool. And you're like,
you're not really present.
Say it this way. And honestly, I don't really remember the first half of that trip. And no, it was not alcohol.
Until post pitch. Yeah. I'm directionally similar story. I fired somebody on a couples weekend. We were away for 4 days and fired somebody while
you were on the couples weekend and fired somebody.
Correct. They were not on
they
vacation
weren't on
getting fired. They were on a work day. I was on vacation firing somebody on a couple's short holiday. But that was a different situation because it truly was, we have to do it on this day. Like
you have to, yeah.
Yeah. So, but that felt really kind of gross because very similar, Christy. Do you think in the hours that led up to firing somebody, I was in like, yay, this is the best and what a great day? No, I'm like, what are we going to say? What about this? And how's this going to go? So you missed the whole day, basically.
But Andrew was super pumped about that.
Yeah. I mean, post firing, then it was like, phew, okay, let's go.
Real fun, Kelly. Like, God, I'm glad that's done.
Did that person know you were on vacation? Was that part of the mental warfare? Like what, like they knew you were on vacation with your husband. So they probably then didn't, did you do it like the back was on camera?
Yeah, the camera was on and just sitting in a room that would be
okay. It's not like you were sitting there with the palm.
Oh no, I wasn't sitting out in the sand like
hey, you were at the pool bar behind you with like going.
Yeah, no, definitely not.
Savage.
I've been so sad.
Definitely not that. Oh my gosh.
I think I have an answer.
Oh yeah, go.
Well, wait, let's remind the
What are
question.
we? The question was, what is something that women are 100% right about?
I mean, this is coming from personal experience.
Yes.
I am sometimes not a very good judge of character, and I always want to give somebody a benefit of the doubt or a second, third, fourth, fifth chance.
Mm-hmm.
And in the Hurbis household, she is always right on if somebody is not to be trusted or they're a shady character. Because I always want to be like, your friend. I'm like, oh, that's Steve. That's just
Yeah,
Steve.
he's fine. Yeah.
He's fine. Like he's harmless. Or don't worry. And I'll tell you what. I can't remember one time where we had those conversations where it might have been not that moment or somewhere down the road, and I was like, "Damn it, she was right."
While we don't always listen to it, we should. We know we should. As a woman, our gut never
Mhm.
wrong. Never wrong.
I
She's
had a boss.
generally always right.
I had a boss once who I have spidey senses when it comes to people because I'm a 2 and I'm an empath and I have to earn love. Also, Casey, I need to know if you've ever done the Enneagram test.
I do, but I cannot. I saw your episode last week, and I was like, I hope they don't ask me because I did it like 2 years ago, but I don't remember what my score was.
It's one number, Casey. It's
I
just
know.
one.
I think it was like below 5. I'm pretty sure.
Well, it's not a 1 to 10, 10
It's
being
not a
bad.
Likert scale. It's just a number.
It's a circle.
I might have been a 2 or 3 or 4. I don't know. I'll have to flip and find it. It's in my OneNote on one of my iPads.
Yeah.
Next episode, I'll
There
call it
we
in.
go. His wife probably knows it.
I'm dying to know.
Christy could probably nail me. She probably knows like what it is.
I think you're a 2.
I was
I think it
thinking
was-
when you were saying I give them a try and again and again and again, I was like, it might be a 2 too.
I think Casey's a 2
It
for
might
a
have
couple
been.
of reasons. One,
What's a
I
2
think,
called?
so I don't know what we're called. We're called a 2.
Aren't there naming
Yeah,
names
hang
to
on.
them
Let
or
me pull it up really quick.
descriptors?
Yes, there are. But let me tell you why I think you're a 2. 2s tend to be empathetic, and while you say you don't express it, you are
I'm beyond
one of
empathetic.
the most you're actually fall into the sympathetic category, which I struggle
Yeah.
with sympathetic. I am very empathetic, but sometimes I'm just like, well, get your shit together. Let's go. Life sucks for all of us. But you also, I think, Casey, you and I have this similar tendency that we feel that we have to earn love. It's just not
yeah.
freely given. So I think, and we like give people many, many chances, but we're like, we work for love.
You're
I'm a 2.
you're known
I'm a
as
2.
the considerate helper if you're a 2.
I think that was it.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right, I'm a 2.
So
Is that bad or good?
No, it just is
not
what it
bad at
is.
all. None of them are bad. They're all just
I
different.
remember getting the 2. I'm like, that doesn't sound good.
Well, but
Is it out of 10? I'm failing.
maybe this gets back to like masculine versus female or whatever, right? Like to that, a 2 sounds like very, it's a lot of what would be considered more feminine traits, empathy, things like that. But the best leaders have empathy.
Yeah.
The best. So like you're a leader, you're a people leader. You've been CMO of these massive companies. Like you're kind of a badass. And I mean, you're smart, bro. But like, I think that what has probably gotten you where you are is your ability to be empathetic and to connect with people. And 2s are very good at that. So I think it's a great number, even though, I mean, there's some, but also too, Casey, in anger, 2s move to an 8. Why don't you tell us what an 8 is, Kelly? Because Kelly's
what's an 8, Kelly?
I'm an 8. An 8 is an active controller.
That's
Give me an example. Give me an example.
The best example of an 8, and I can just speak to myself, if you think of a roasted marshmallow, it is tough, crusty exterior, but really just a mush on the inside. So it's like a force of nature, really in control, very much like, I want to know that person in the room, but they are very guarded because we are about trust and authenticity. I will be skeptical about trusting. I need you to say what you mean and mean what you say. And then once you get through that, so a 2 goes into an 8 in a period of stress, an 8 goes into a 2 in a period of safety. So we are basically 2 sides of a coin, which is interesting. And I can definitely agree to that. In a very small circle of trusted people, I can be 100% myself, not worried about what you're going to think about me, whether this makes me look weak, whether this makes me look like a pussy. It's like, okay, these are my trusted friends.
Whoa. Okay.
Hold out the P word.
Didn't think that was going to come out in this episode.
That's a word we both agreed we hated, and it came out of my mouth only when I'm using it to describe being weak. That's the only time I will use that word. But anyway.
Which is interesting because, not to get raunchy or whatever, like, I mean, they're pretty resilient. So I'm just going to throw that out there and then we're going to move on. It's very interesting when they're like, oh, well, you have some cojones on you. I'm like, what do you do if you want to bring a man to his knees? Fucking kick him in the balls, right? And so, like, I'm like, but you're a pussy and that's okay. Okay. You know what? We're getting off this because this is too raunchy.
Moving on.
I'm just moving on. Yeah, moving on. That one is not a social media clip, but it's, if you think about it, it makes zero effing.
It does make no sense.
It doesn't make any medical sense. No medical sense at all. Okay. What are we talking about? What are we doing here, people?
Well, we were going to talk a little bit about AI, so I'm curious because, Casey, you've been in a really different set of industries than myself, sports betting and cars and all that kind of stuff. Perhaps interested to hear your opinions on AI as a tool, and are you sitting here now going, yeah, it is going to take over? What are your thoughts? You're teaching your dad about it, but in a work perspective.
Can I tell a little bit of a story? I'll give you my perspective. Of
course,
absolutely.
Love stories.
For those of us that have been around, I distinctly remember sitting in a room in 1999 when the internet was starting to be a thing, right? And people were selling shoes and books and maybe travel. And I was in the auto business back then. And I remember car dealers, laughing at the idea that's maybe I tell these stories to young professionals, like, dude, when I was your age, we'd be in a room and dealers would be laughing at the idea that the internet, somebody one day would shop, build, purchase, and maybe take delivery of a vehicle on the internet.
Yeah,
it'll never happen.
Yeah,
it'll never happen. It'll never happen, right? And you look back on those moments and you laugh. And then I remember in 2011 when e-commerce, 1% of e-commerce was on mobile. And then, this little thing came out a year later.
Yeah.
What started off as, hey, we should think about mobile optimization. And in 4 years, e-commerce on mobile surpassed PCs. Like, you never thought, like, why would I buy anything on this thing? I'm always going to be in go-to.
And I think we're right. Smartphone, just for anyone listening,
smartphone,
not watching.
Smartphone, but I think we're at that moment again with AI, meaning 15 or 20 years from now, like I'll give you, like your sons or Presley or my daughter, they're going to be telling their kids or someone else. Like, I remember in 2004, 2022, 2025, when we thought AI might do, it's going to sound silly.
Yeah, you're like,
I mean, I think about at the end of the day, ChatGPT, i.e. AI, has only been around 3.5 years. 3.5 years. Think about what you thought of AI 3 years ago, 2 years ago, 1 year ago, and today.
Yeah.
It took right now, like, AI search is at like 4% market share. It took Bing 20 years to get to 7%. And this is the first time in a decade that Google's under 90% market share. Think about your own search habits. I'm 54 years old. I can't remember the last time I went on to Google.
Googled it. Yeah. You don't even say that. Google it anymore.
I just set up a new laptop the other day. I downloaded 4 apps, and not one of them was a browser. I downloaded ChatGPT, Gemini, Perplexity, and Claude. And I'm old.
Even when I do search, I use the AI summary of my search, not actually anything below it. So all of our dollars in search engine marketing, it's like, wow. Oh, at least now ads are placed in AI platforms. I think that right now it feels like, and certainly for the way I use it, AI is really for me about productivity, right? Like, how can I use fewer of my own hours to do somewhat more administrative types of things? One thing that I think is still to be determined how it plays out is more AI replacing humanity, right? I hear more and more people doing presentations that when they're speaking it, I bloody know they didn't write that. Like, they sound like AI. Yeah. And it's like, where is the humor and the vulnerability and the life experience in that language. Christy's dying to say something.
I am, because I'm what people would call an early adopter of things. I'm like, oh, this is fun. Let's try it. And so it's funny. I use AI all the time, but I have programmed who I am in it. So when I say, give me, and of course I learn a lot of medical stuff. So I'm like, what the fuck? Like, put this presentation in like human terms so I can understand it. But when I write in it or whatever, it'll give me this like whatever, and then I'll be like, and make it in Christy Diesel's voice.
Yeah.
And you instantly get
It gets
exclamation points. Well, which I gotta tell you, Casey, so funny. When we'll go back to the exclamation points, but you get a friendlier tone. It gets rid of buzzwords, but like I have that programmed into it. I'm like, do not use buzzwords. Do not use hyphens. Be friendly where you can be. Talk to it like a human being. Put a little bit of sarcasm in there, like something like that, right? And so I'm able to, if you've used it long enough and use it properly, you can actually program it to be really damn close. However, I will say this, during the Industrial Revolution, during, when computers started out, everyone's like, the computers are going to take over the world, right?
Yeah.
I don't think we'll ever get to a point, like AI still needs humanity to drive it. And I know Kelly, I'm telling you, because there's starting to be a bit of a backlash to it, right?
Yeah.
Because you're like, oh, that was clearly written with AI, and that's seen as negative versus it's actually being really productive. But I think that just like the computer, everyone thought it was going to take everyone's jobs. I think it will shift jobs. I think it will change jobs. And I think it will, require just a shift in how we work and the type of people that are needed and the skill sets that are needed. I'm actually really worried about the kids in college right now because they're stuck in a 1950s curriculum. Getting out of school, right? And like, I mean, I know they all know how to like use AI and stuff, but they're not able to use a lot of the newest business tools that we've been using for years because it's seen as like getting rid of their critical thinking.
Yeah.
Which I totally disagree with, but that's
I
a
think
whole other podcast.
We were seeing that before we ever introduced AI. I would just say that this will never happen sort of viewpoint that Casey, you brought up about buying a car online not that many decades ago. We should be cautious about taking that same stance when it comes to what AI couldn't possibly do or be, because we're looking a fool when it comes to how we order things now. So I am a heavy user of AI because it is just so productive.
Do you use it a lot in your personal life?
I use it both equally in my personal and in my business life. My personal life, I'm like, I got 5 days. I want to do a road trip. I want to see Moab. I want to stay in cool, unique experiences, and I want no chain restaurants.
And give me a packing list.
Map this trip. There's my dog, my husband, and we're driving a Jeep. And it's like, boop, here you go. Take this road.
Let's be honest. You could do that before, but it would have taken you
hours.
Hours. I mean, it's not replacing. It's speed to certainty. It's like I think about students, right? Our kids are in school. So I was up talking to some students recently, and these kids, I was at the bar with them, ironically enough. This one kid's like, he goes, I feel like I'm getting dumber with AI because I'm not thinking, and I'm not thinking how to research. That's what I get worried about. Is it's push button get. It's not like, hey, you could do that Moab trip, but you're going to have to go to 8 or 9 places, and you're going to have to put it and organize it together.
And now you can think about all the questions to ask up front. Yes.
But
you have to be much more intentional.
Didn't we say kind of the same thing about Google? And my point is, right? My point is that there is no replacement for humanity, period, end of story.
Yeah.
Correct.
We will pivot. We will have more time to probably get more done like we keep doing. It's like, now you got AI. You can do 2 people's jobs and maybe 25, and let's be even more productive. Like, that's a different thing. I just don't think there's a replacement for humanity. And also, too, I use it, but I also have to know the questions and the prompts. Like, what am I looking for?
This is it.
Right.
And
what am I trying to get out of this spreadsheet?
Go back to the Google example. If you really think about it, Google has created a lot of jobs in this country.
Correct.
Right? Yeah. And not just for Google or Alphabet. It's, different companies that now can be stood up, industries that could be stood up thanks to Google. I just think we're so early into AI.
Yes.
AI will create a lot of jobs. It's just we
Jobs.
don't know yet. Like
Yes.
when Google was just a search bar and that was it. And we're like, well, Lord knows, think of how many like jobs and industries and products or whatever it might be were born out of the ability, the strength and the power of a search engine like Google.
Yeah. And I think you have to be open and willing to see if I free up this non-value added time in my day, what other
Yeah.
cool shit can I do? And guess what? Some of it is not work related. When I use the tool to summarize meetings and to put big task items together and even to do environmental scans of business and like collate it together and show me what I can't see, I saved all that time I normally would have been doing that at 7 o'clock on the couch. Oops. Thumbs up. I forgot I was on my MacBook, but it saved me all that time I would have spent doing all that searching on the computer while I was sitting beside my husband and not enjoying whatever movie or chatting about the day. So it just cleared all that time on my calendar. So I think from a productivity perspective, it's so good. I agree with you, Christy, on the humanities side. What I would say is if you're using it, use discretion in what the final product is. Read it back. Does that sound like my voice? Is that what I intended? Should I ask questions? Does that sound right? Like, don't assume it's always right. Sometimes it's like, no, man, you got that wrong. Do it again.
Can I tell you a hilarious story that happened
Yes,
to me?
because then we're going to get into some funnies on AI.
Okay, well, this one's fucking hilarious. So, Derek Jeter, you know who Derek Jeter is?
Baseball.
Number two,
Never
the
heard of him.
captain, blah, blah. So he's in the office. We had a partnership with him, and I got to do a fireside chat with him. And it was in front of 2,000 people. So I did all my AI research on him. And so I used AI to create my introduction of him. So I'm like, hey, everybody, blah, blah, blah. Derek Jeter, born in Kalamazoo, Michigan. He went to Kalamazoo Central High School. He was an all-state baseball, basketball, and track star all the way through. He comes in, everyone's going nuts. He sits down. He goes, did you say that I ran track? And I'm like, yeah, Kalamazoo Central. He goes, dude, I've never ran a day in my life. And he's a big Michigan slappy. I went to Michigan State. And he goes, I'm like, well, and this is in front of 2,000 people. I'm starting to sweat. And I go, hey, well, I used AI. He goes, that's a typical Michigan State grad right there. And so he made fun of, and I was so pissed because I went back. Yeah. And I'm like, fucking Grok told me that he ran track in high school. And I go, so his agent I'm like, dude, you better fix his Wikipedia because it pulled it from somewhere. Yeah. It's your agent's fault because they're not fact checking what's written about you out there. But to that point, I use that as an example. I'm like, hey, y'all, AI it always ain't right. Like, it's like a reporter. Get your second and third
opinions.
Source.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes. Okay, so I asked you both to do this, and I bet you didn't do it. I asked you to ask AI what your toxic trait was.
I did not do that.
So while the two of you are doing it, I am going to read you mine.
Okay, let's hear it.
Here we go. It's a paragraph. Christy Diesel's toxic trait is probably believing she can outwork, outfix, outlove, outstrategize, and outperform literally any problem, including people who never asked to be saved in the first place. A few likely side effects. Turns every small idea into a full campaign, movement, keynote, and emotional documentary. Says yes because she genuinely can do it, then resents everyone quietly at 1:12 a.m. while still delivering flawlessly. Treats chaos like a competitive sport. Accidentally intimidates people by brainstorming faster than they can process. Thinks delegation means I'll just redo it later. That one's not true. Okay, it's kind of fucking true. Okay. Wants honesty from everyone, but can weaponize bluntness with Olympic precision. She can read a room in 4 seconds and sometimes manipulates the energy instead of leaving it alone. Falls into the if I'm valuable enough, needed enough, funny enough, successful enough, then they'll stay territory. Oh, that's so sad. Fucking sad. Makes herself responsible for everyone else's experience, operates at such a high intensity that rest feels suspicious. Professionally, these traits may make her magnetic. Personally, they can make relationships feel like, am I loved? Or I'm a project with branding support. The most Christy Diesel sentence possible. I'm exhausted, overcommitted, emotionally carrying 6 people, mildly furious, and absolutely going to launch this by Monday. Nail on the head, people. I mean, shit.
Okay. All right, I'll read you mine.
Okay.
Your toxic trait? You probably operate like a motivational keynote speaker strapped to a rocket engine. You can outfunction almost anyone in a crisis, which means you sometimes carry everyone emotionally and strategically, assume competence is love, push through discomfort instead of sitting in it, keep performing fine while your nervous system is backstage eating drywall. You also have a sneaky habit of turning pain into productivity. Career upheaval? Build a brand. Identity crisis? Launch a podcast episode. Emotional processing? What if this became a framework? And because you're articulate, self-aware, and charismatic, people often think, Kelly's got this. Meanwhile, you're occasionally one inconvenience away from staring into the abyss because someone loaded the dishwasher with bowls facing down. Secondary toxic trait. You likely give extraordinary advice and then absolutely refuse to take your own advice for at least 3 to 5 business months. But your most dangerous trait? You can make chaos look glamorous, like a woman walking out of a burning boardroom holding a latte and a content strategy. Respectfully, iconic behavior.
I mean, that's you.
Hilarious.
Okay,
Casey.
Jesus. All right. Well, if you're pulling back the curtain and looking at the mischief side of things, a few highly relatable, self-inflicted toxic traits jump out. You're emotionally unavailable during game time.
During game time?
When the Spartans, Lions, Tigers, or Red Wings are on, the rest of the world basically goes into a commercial break. Sports don't consume your free time. They run your schedule, leaving anyone trying to have a serious conversation during a game completely locked out. You have severe DIY avoidance. You'll happily orchestrate massive, complex branding campaigns, but the second a light fixture needs replacing, or a piece of furniture needs assembly, you are absolutely nowhere to be found. Do it yourself is a phrase that simply does not exist in your vocabulary. Sneaker over-indexing. Your closet is a logistical hazard zone of Air Force Ones, Jordans, and Hokas. Damn right. There is a very high probability of looked at a brand new pair of sneakers that look remarkably like the other 3 pairs you own and thought, yep, this is completely different and entirely necessary. The always-on networking compulsion. Even though you're technically on a professional hiatus, you can't actually stop. Instead of sitting on a beach unplugged, you are spinning up new content series, drafting LinkedIn posts in your head, and filling the calendar with catch-ups and executive coffee dates. Which one of these are you most guilty of today?
Ooh, which one are you most guilty
I'm
of
gonna
today?
go fucking lay in the corner in a fetal position and cry. Do you mind? This has fucked up my head so bad.
Oh, no.
Christy, why'd you make us do this?
Because it's fun, Casey.
No, it's not fun.
Casey's like, I want to cry.
Remember what I said about emotionally unavailable?
Right.
You cracked it. You broke it.
Can I just say this? This kind of shows you how crazy accurate it can be.
There's not one thing I'd argue with here.
Casey does have, Kelly, you don't know this, but Casey has a ridiculous amount of shoes, some of which look very, very similar.
Oh, yeah. I'm curious why ChatGPT knows this, or Claude, or whoever you use. Why do they know how many shoes you have?
Because they see his buying habits. If you think about where
I talk about them, I post about them.
Oh, you post about it. Okay.
Everything.
Okay.
I'm a big shoe guy. Like, some people have feet fetishes. I
have
shoe fetish.
What kind of shoes are your go-to shoe?
Well, according to Gemini, Air Force Ones, Jordans, and Hokas.
So 100%. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
totally,
Okay.
yeah.
Casey, I don't think I've seen Casey in a pair of shoes that weren't sneakers ever.
Well, 10 years.
Yeah.
Oh, my
Lord. I think once he hit a certain level of executive, he's like, I don't do what I want.
Then it's ironic. Then you're like, I'm just wearing these ironically because I can. Okay,
we're coming up. Is this show almost done?
No,
I'm now a mess.
Yes, it is, because I got a big girl job that's knocking on my door, and I do need to eat some lunch. But hey, thank you for joining us. I have a question for you. What surprised you about joining this podcast that you didn't think was going to happen, besides being destroyed by your AI toxic trait list?
Yeah, I'm wondering if I'd let my guard down. And but I did much more
on
than
this. You're wondering if you did that on here?
If I would have, if I dropped my guard more than I probably realized. I didn't say anything. I didn't I'm a regret.
Well, you did share a story with us. You said you'd never told anyone when
Oh,
your
I
son
did?
was
Yeah.
born.
I've never told that story before. And I tell,
so I think
Christy knows I tell
you
stories
did.
everywhere.
We
So
could have
you
a whole
must have.
podcast of Casey's stories.
Yeah.
Okay, well, do you feel like this is a podcast only for women then? Or does this feel like,
Well, we'll
hey,
see.
man,
Well,
we're
you're,
not that different?
we'll see. If you're, you get big numbers and maybe, maybe they'll say, hey, where's Casey? Bring him back.
You're right. You're right, Casey. If this is the episode that blows up, we'll be like, whoa, we may have to adjust our recipe here a little bit.
Yes. Okay, so
And you took it easy on me. I was also expecting.
We did.
Like,
we didn't
I was going
roast
to get
you.
hit hard.
It's your first time. Come back.
That's what she said.
And you had to do that, like toxic masculinity. No, I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding. I'm
No.
totally kidding. Okay, so we're gonna close it out. Like, follow, share, and we'll see you guys next time. And Casey, you're definitely gonna have to come back on because there's so much we didn't get into.
And Casey, do tell us if getting on this episode meant that you also rethought the mullet. I'm curious. Because
Never.
you did admit that we're always right about something, and my gut tells me you're going to cut that mullet off.
He said people. He said people, Kelly. At his level, a mullet and sneakers are iconic.
Oh, it's true.
There you go. There's your support. Okay, everybody, have a great
Peace.
week. Bye.
Have a great week, Al. Thanks, Casey.